Welcome to Tech and More. If you are a corporate professional, especially a software engineer, chances are that you aspire to get into these product based organizations because you have heard it from somewhere that product based organization, be it of any scale, it is always better than service based organizations. So in this video, I am going to debunk that myth. And yes, products are better than services to make as a career, but that is not always true. There are a couple of exceptions, there are a couple of factors to keep in mind. So I am going to discuss about all these pointers and logically help you in deciding which whether you should go for product or service depending upon the state of your career. Cool. So let's start. There are going to be two parts of this video. Part one will be wherein we'll be discussing the differences between product and service based organizations, because even that is important to know. And number two is that we are going to discuss the different parameters that help you in deciding whether to go for product based or service based organizations. Cool. So let's start. As I told you, these are the different pointers that we are going to discuss. And before I forget, one more important thing. So, for people who are not able to watch this video, I have tried to create this particular content or this particular video in a way that even if you just plug in your earphones and listen to it, you'll be able to make sense of what I'm saying. So, all in all, I'm trying to create this video as a podcast as well. So, if you do not have the time to go ahead and watch it, just simply plug in your earphones, go for a walk for 10-15 minutes. Rather, it is going to be less than 10 minutes for sure. uh, you'll be able to hear this, and at the end of the video you'll be able to make sense out of all the content that I've shared. So without wasting any more time, let's start. Number one, conceptually, what is the difference between product based and service based? A product based organization is one that creates a product and sells it to the customer directly, that is business to consumer. And service based company is something wherein you create a product as per your client's need, but that client is not the end consumer. That client will in turn sell it to some other client as well, right? That is the difference between conceptual, I mean, on the basis of conceptual thoughts. Example can be, so when you say talk about product based organizations, some of the famous product based organizations are Google, PayPal, Adobe, Microsoft. And some of the famous service based organizations are Accenture, Infosys, TCS. Again, uh, for example, when you work with Amazon or when you work with Google, which is a product based organization, you're working on an application that is directly going to be used by the end consumer, right? Whereas when you're working with Accenture or Infosys, you're working on a project that is to be given to a client, for example, a website, and that client is in turn selling products to some of their end consumers, right? So in most of the cases, we're correlating between product and service. Google can be a client to Accenture, or Amazon can be a client to Accenture, wherein Accenture is creating an app or a website for Amazon that it in turn uses to sell products to its end consumers. That is what differentiates between product and service, along with an example, right? Now we are going to discuss the difference along with parameters also. The first parameter is going to be difference by work. So as I told you, in product, we are developing the thing which is to be used by the end consumer directly, that is business to consumer. Whereas in service, you're developing a product that is to be delivered to your consumer or your client, which in turn will be used by the end client, which is a client to your client, all in all, right? Which is in technical terms termed as business to business. Got it? Cool. Now, the next difference is going to be selection criteria and learning potential. Always remember that in product based organizations in general, the selection criteria is more difficult as compared to service based. That is, for example, there are more number of rounds, more technical knowledge required as compared to service based. But that is not always the truth. But yes, generically, it is true. That is one difference. The next difference is going to be the difference between work culture and work life balance. In product based organizations, uh, the pressure of work can be more daunting as compared to service based organizations because of the more dynamicity in the work environment. Cool. Then the next difference is going to be the compensation and growth. Of course, if it is so difficult to get into product based organizations, the the compensation is going to be more. So in product based organizations, you tend to earn 2 to 3 times more as compared to service based organizations. But again, that is not always the truth. It depends upon the condition. Cool. These are the major differences between product and service based organizations, talking in general terms, right? Now comes the major part or the last part of the video, that is wherein we are going to talk about the exceptions. So always remember that the differences that we have talked here is with respect to big scale product based organizations as compared to big scale service based organizations. For example, here these differences were compared between companies like Google, Amazon to companies like Wipro, Infosys. Cool. Now, if you have got an opportunity to work for a product or a service based organization, you always need to have a look at the scale. That is the most important. So as if you are watching, if you can see on the screen, if you're not, I'll tell you a couple of facts that will help you in deciding between product and service based organizations is dependent on these major different factors or major conditions. Number one is small scale service organizations are better than large scale service based organization. So for example, if there is a small service based company, choose it over the large service based company like Infosys, Accenture, or TCS. Number two condition can be if the small scale product organizations are better than large scale ones, especially at the start of your career, because it helps you learn more, right? Number three condition is that FAANG companies are always better than service based organizations, right? Number four is consulting is more dynamic as compared to product. I'll give you an example. So let's suppose if you're working for a product which is already developed, right? And there is not a lot of enhancements or new developments coming into the place, it is stable. And versus that you are creating a product or a website for a client right from the scratch, there are chances to learn more in consulting or in service based in that way. So all in all, go for organizations, be it product, be it service, where you can learn more. That is the crux of the whole video. That if you are in a point of your career, for example, wherein you are relatively new or a fresher or 1 or 2 years experience, you get two options. Number one option is that you can work with a big product company which has a relatively stable product and you will not get to learn a lot. And number two is that you are getting an offer from a small scale service based company where there is a lot of opportunity to learn. Always go for the small scale service based company. That is option number two, because you will get to learn a lot. Once you learn, then after 1 or 2 years you can go for big product based companies like Amazon or Flipkart. You can try for that again. So because that will give you a lot of knowledge. And again, interrupting in between, if you want to see that how can you make your career into getting into these big organizations like Flipkart, Amazon, I have curated a video, and you can visit my channel, subscribe to it, and watch this video, which is strategy to get into big product based organizations. That will help you. But as far as this video is concerned, the question is, the major question is that what do you go for? So depending or on the basis of the discussions of the last slide or on the last pointers, always have a look at your career, the stage at which you are. If you're at the start, always make sure that you spend your time in learning. Once you learn for a couple of years, then you can go for any organization you want. But once you skip learning, you will face a lot of difficulties in your career. Cool. So I hope that this brief video was helpful to you, and you will be able to make more informed decision, and you will be not a prey to the common notions. You will use your logic, you will use the pointers that I shared, and I hope that these short videos help you grow in your career exponentially. So thank you so much for watching. Do share, like, or subscribe. And if you like our content, please share it with your community. More and more we get subscribers, more we'll be able to make better content. And lastly, please share your feedbacks, please share your suggestions. More than welcome to implement them. So yeah, that's all. And thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you again. Thank you.